Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we are on Am I the A? Our first post is by Careless Evidence. Am I the jerk for having a surprise wedding at mine and my husband's engagement party? Background: my father, 66M, suddenly passed away in February. It's been a big shock and adjustment for everyone. My now husband, 35M, proposed on my 33F birthday in March. He'd already talked to my mom and dad about it. I'm not a fan of big parties, so husband and I decided to do a small celebration for our engagement, have a nice meal at a fancy hotel. Everyone can dress up. The more we planned, and the more we talked about it, we thought it would be fun to just get married. We have been together for coming up 10 years. Neither of us wanted a big wedding, so we thought a small surprise wedding would suit us. Especially with my dad passing away, I didn't want a traditional big white wedding. We invited 10 people: my mom, sister, and her partner, his mom, dad, brother, his partner, and daughter. We also invited our best friends, who are also in a relationship. All goes to plan. Everyone arrives. They are escorted into our reserved room, where they see a sign saying, "Welcome to the wedding of husband and OP." Everyone is surprised. Our officiant gets people in places. Husband and I walk in together. We get married. Both mums sign the marriage certificate. We go for our sit-down meal. Everyone seemed happy at the time. People were laughing, saying they should have expected it. We had a photographer there to catch their reaction, ceremony, and posed pictures after. We went away locally for a small honeymoon. When we have gotten back, both my mum and his mum have pulled us aside separately to say they were disappointed in us, that we had taken away their opportunity to be with us when we chose a venue, did wedding planning stuff. They are both especially upset they never came wedding dress shopping with me, which I ironically didn't even do. I bought an emerald green 1950s bodycon pencil dress online. It was the first and only dress I tried on. Am I the jerk for taking away everyone's chance to be involved with the wedding? Our next post is by Positive Elk. Am I the jerk for canceling the entire vacation when I found out that my stepdaughters deliberately hid my daughter's passport to get her to stay home? I've been married to my wife Beth for 5 years. I have a bio daughter named Jessica, she's 18. And I also have 2 stepdaughters named Monica and Leah. They're 25 and 28. Both are single moms and live with us currently. There's been issues about my stepdaughters asking my daughter to babysit the kids. Jessica didn't have a problem with it at first, since this is what she does to earn money, but since her stepsisters don't pay her much, she just refused to babysit. We worked this out by having my wife take care of paying for the babysitting. I planned a family vacation for 3 days, and everyone wanted to go. However, both Monica and Leah suggested that Jessica stay home and watch the kids since Beth doesn't want her grandkids to come. They said it's because the kids are used to Jessica and hiring another babysitter would cause issues, and also said that Jessica isn't too fond of our destination, but it was obvious that Jessica wanted to go. They insisted, and Beth offered to pay her double, and there was just a lot of back and forth on this till I demanded they stop bringing it up. We were supposed to go last week, but when everybody had bagged their bags and was time to go, Jessica found out that she didn't have her passport on her. We searched her bag, then went home and searched there. Beth and my stepdaughters kept insisting that we go back to the airport or else we'd miss our flight. They insisted that Jessica stay at home with the kids. They even told the new babysitter to go home cause she was no longer needed. I refused to go and kept searching for the passport till Monica admitted that she helped Leah hide Jessica's passport to get her to stay home with the kids. I was livid. I tried to get her to tell me where it was, but she said Leah had it. Leah denied, so I threatened to cancel the vacation. That's when they gave it back. I decided to actually cancel the vacation and blew up at both of them and berated them. They stayed upstairs for a while, and Beth refused to speak to me and said that I punished my stepdaughters for worrying about their kids and wanting them to stay with someone they know. I got told I overreacted and ruined the trip for everybody. Editing to mention that kicking my stepdaughters out isn't possible since my wife co-owns the house that we currently live in. Next up, posted by Graveyard Shift. Am I the jerk for begging my girlfriend to uphold a sexist tradition just so she can make a good first impression? I have a big family that's incredibly close. We have big family dinners every few months where we all meet at my great-grandfather's estate and eat together. Typically how this works is that the women go cook for the time they're there and the men don't. Which I am fully aware it's sexist. That being said, I am one of the youngest people in family and my protests mean literally nothing. Some of those women choose not to cook, however this is usually met with a level of ostracizing. The women who don't cook are wives and long-term girlfriends, so they kinda already have a good family relationship doctored in. When I have seen new partners not cook, it's gone bad. Like completely ostracized, not speaking, cattiness, rudeness, etc. This dinner will be in 2 weeks and my girlfriend was asked if she would attend. Initially she said yes, which is great. I want for her to meet everyone and for everyone to get used to her being around, but when I explained to her the tradition, she was understandably bothered. I told her that I understood where she was coming from, however, it was best for everyone if she just played along. I told her this isn't a permanent thing and that I am only asking her to do this so that she can avoid bad treatment from the rest of the family. This is her first impression, and I don't think it's best if we cause waves. She told me that it's unacceptable and that if she has to do that, she will not be going. I've tried to find a compromise with her on this, but she won't budge and she's pissed at me. She told me that if I think it's acceptable to make her do this, I'm just as bad as everyone else, while my point is that she needs to make a good first impression. Am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for leaving my sister's wedding early because she kept my husband out of pictures? My 31M, sister Ann, 34F, got married on Saturday. My husband of 7 years, Mark, 32M, was there with me and up until one point, was an amazing evening. After the ceremony, Ann wanted a picture with all of our siblings, there's 5 of us, and their respective partners, so we started lining up. When Ann saw that my husband was standing next to me, she shook her head and said something about him ruining the aesthetic. Apparently, her plan was to put one man and one woman next to each other alternately. My youngest sister, 18F, who doesn't have a partner and was standing on the very side, offered to stand between the two of us so we could be close and Ann's wish would still be respected. I thought that was a great solution, but Ann disagreed and told Mark to get out of the picture. He's quite introverted and tries to avoid confrontation under all circumstances, so he simply complied and told me not to get angry, but it was obvious that he was hurt and disappointed by being left out. Obviously, it didn't stop me from getting angry, and I walked away with him. I can understand that Ann wants her wedding pictures to look exactly how she imagined them, but I think that the idea my younger sister proposed was very reasonable. I congratulated Ann and her husband one last time, but then I said my goodbyes. When I was asked why we were leaving early, especially before taking the pictures, I said that I didn't feel like our presence was wanted. We left before dinner was served, and I took Mark out to his favorite restaurant to cheer him up a little. Ann has texted me since saying that I was being overdramatic and making a fuss over nothing. Our parents have tried to remain neutral, but except for my youngest sister, the rest of the family supports Ann and thinks that leaving early was going too far and that I should have sucked it up instead of ruining her big day. Next up, posted by Free Scallion. Am I the jerk for giving back everything my family bought for my son? My wife and I welcomed our son into the world early this month. Prior to his birth, we had been given a lot of very nice clothes and toys by my parents for him. My mother-in-law also made some pretty incredible clothes and blankets. My wife, her siblings, and their mom lived in poverty for a large part of her life. Their dad abandoned the family and left my wife's mom with a large pile of debt that weighed on them, so their life wasn't easy. My mother-in-law often made her kids clothes versus buying them because it was cheaper for her to do. She worked in a store that had a lot of fabrics that they were allowed to take the excess of. She's talented and always put an effort into making sure the clothes looked good enough so the kids wouldn't be bullied. Those clothes are something my wife treasures. She remembers how much love and effort went into them. She also appreciates that her mom tried to make them work enough to blend in at school, that it saved them years of potential bullying. All these years later, and mother-in-law is still dealing with the debt. She does not have a lot, so she made some amazing clothes and blankets for our son. One of the outfits was even his take-home outfit. But then a couple of days after our son was born, she comes over with a bag of clothes she bought, saying she wanted him to have more. My wife and I were shocked. I could see she was upset and looked almost guilty, so when my wife went to nap, I asked her what was going on. At first she said nothing, and she just wanted her grandson to have more, but then she apologized for embarrassing us. I asked her what she meant. She told me my parents had talked to her after the baby shower and told her she had left all the grandparents spoiling to them. That she should understand if we never put our son in any of the clothes, because really, they look like the kind of homemade clothes from 70+ years ago when people were left with no choice. They accused her of not caring enough. I told her I was so sorry they had said that. I assured her I had never said anything like that to them, that my parents had no idea what it was like to have nothing and were being judgmental assholes. I even convinced her to take back the clothes she bought and return them to the store. I then gathered up everything my parents gave us and went to their house. My parents didn't even try to deny it when I confronted them. All they did is look down on the effort she put into them. They said we couldn't seriously be okay with those being the only gifts. I said we were, and as far as I was concerned, they were the only truly generous gift he got, and I told them it was their gifts I was embarrassed of. I gave them the stuff and told them we were no longer accepting the gifts or them after what they did. They are furious, saying I reacted way too harshly and saying it's an a-hole move to return gifts. I'm furious with them too. Am I the jerk? Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.